Alright everyone, in this video I'm going to show you a couple examples of how to add and subtract complex numbers and then plot the result of your work here. So we have two examples. In our first example, I see 8 minus I plus 5 plus 4i. So when I'm looking at this, I need to see this as two separate terms. They are housed in parentheses. So what I want to do in my first step is to look for like terms and go ahead and combine those like terms. So what I'm looking for is to combine 8, and I'm combining with the signs because it's plus 8 and 4 and 5, sorry. And I'm also going to combine negative 8 plus 5 plus negative I. I'm taking that from this guy right here, and positive 4i. And then what I will do after that is then simplify. So that's pretty straightforward. I'm taking those terms and I'm going to combine them. So 8 plus 5 gives me 13, and negative I plus 4i is positive 3i, so it's plus 3i, and that would be my final answer. So I take the beginning example of 8 minus I plus 5 plus 4i, and I get 13 plus 3i as my final example. So if I'm going to graph it, I go to my link, so I can copy and paste the link. I can right click and open the hyperlink, but once I have that hyperlink, I'm graphing 13 plus 3i. Now I've got a couple ways to do this. Notice I don't see 13 on my real number plane, so I can drag until I do and bring my point over to 13 on the real number, and then I need to go up 3, so I can drag it up until I get 3, so it should be 13 and 3. Or the other thing I can do is remember that the way that the complex number is located, you have the A and then the B. So my A would be my real number, so I can change that 4 in here to 13, and I can change the B to 3, and that would then give me the same thing. Remember, I can also always zoom on a large scale or choose either the real axis or the imaginary axis to zoom to help you see it. Then I would copy my link by clicking the share button, clicking copy, and paste it to prove that I had graphed it. So this would be the link of my graph right there. And that way when you do that, I can check your work. So now in our second example is a subtraction. I have 7 minus 6i minus 3 minus 6i. The first thing I want to do with a subtraction is change it into an addition. So what I'm going to do here is my first part of my expression, 7 minus 6i, is going to remain the same. But the second part, I'm going to distribute that subtraction. So that subtraction is going to go to the 3, meaning I now have an addition of negative 3, and a subtraction of a subtraction will be adding 6i. And so what that does is it lets me settle my signs, and then I don't have to worry about applying that subtraction. So I just go ahead and apply it right off the bat, making it a lot easier to work with afterwards. So now I go with the same rules that I did in example 1. I'm going to combine my like terms. Make sure I'm at size 20. So when I do that, I will get 7 and negative 3. So that would just be 7 minus 3 plus negative 6i and positive 6i. And we'll notice something interesting happening here. So 7 minus 3 is, of course, 4. But negative 6i and positive 6i is going to cancel out. So I will have no I. I'll have 0i, which I don't need to write down. So my final answer here ends up being 4. I can go back to my complex plane. I know that I don't have any I, and that my real number is 4. So you can see I typed that in to get this. So this would be what my graph would look like. I could also just go ahead and graph it, grab the graph and bring my real number to 4 and have no imaginary number. Either way, you can do it by hand or you can do it by typing it in. Just make sure you're being aware that the real number is A and the imaginary number is B. So you need to make sure you're typing them in the correct element. And again, what I will do is I will share the graph, copy the link, and paste the link in my assignment so that I can share that and I'll be able to check your work on your graphing here.